I just thought of a great horror movie, chat. It takes place in London, and it's about a woman. And as she is in the metro, someone looks at her. And that's it. That's the plot. Isn't it great? I mean, I think it would sell tickets because it's inspired by real events. Look at this. Staring on the public transport. His eyes were glued on me. I could feel him watching me. You know, I made the video back when the whole TikTok thing with women in the gym being watched was trending, and I was saying, well, you're uncomfortable with one person watching you, right? So what you do is you upload yourself on social media so that millions of people can watch. I mean, it seems legit. But my point was that in no country around the world is watching a crime. For many reasons, we'll go into those. But usually a crime is when you do something, like when you speak, when you try to put your hands on. Like, everyone agrees that that would not be okay. But watching, I have never heard of any country throughout the human history where watching something can land you in jail. But here we are in the progressive modern day Britain. So apparently, staring at women for long can land you in jail, warns the UK police. Apparently, you're not allowed to indulge in intense staring. Now, I will tell you why this is dumb. And I'm not even going to bring up the argument that in a city where the cutlery crime is off the charts, police are now having to waste their resources and manpower with this shit. But it's prone to abuse. I mean, it's so freaking subjective, isn't it? How can you prove that the person was legitimately looking at her with sexual intent? How does that even look like? Is it like this? What if it looks like this? Huh? Like, and for how long? What if the person is just looking at a poster behind the woman? I mean, we saw this in TikTok. There was this lady at the gym, and she was thinking that the man was staring at her, but in fact, he was looking at the television behind her. So, how do you know? I mean, many times, especially when I'm in public transport, like I'm looking at something, you know, I may as well just look at the person in front of me. I'm not even using my brain to analyze what I'm seeing. I'm probably thinking of something else. I'm thinking about my ushikushi sakubasi, you know, like something else. But that person who sees me can say that I'm looking at them. So now you can be in trouble with the cops. The main problem with this is that it's going to thought policing levels. And notice how thought policing isn't something that's being used as a negative word in the media anymore. Because back in the day during the Soviet Union and Nazi Germany, when you had authoritarian governments, they would highlight the main difference between that and the United States. I think the difference was that in the United States, they didn't have thought policing, right? So they would only police actions which are observable, cannot be misinterpreted. So those were the ones being criminalized. In the Soviet Union, it was about how you think, like how your brain works. You know, even if you didn't do a crime, what if you may? What if you're a rotten apple? A rotten apple can spoil a bunch of good apples. So we need to eliminate that rotten apple from society. It's best if we lock up 9 innocent people than to let that rotten apple go. So that was the mindset of authoritarian governments. And this is true almost all around the world. But they are very interested with policing what people think. This new ideology, this progressive ideology that we noticed fostering in London and in other places, it's not even trying to thought police anymore, like it already does that. Now it's trying to go to unconscious biases. So even if your thoughts are pure, like what if deep underneath, like what if like something that you yourself are not aware of is problematic? And that needs to be policing as well. Now, you know, even arguing the fact that it's a crime to look at another person, I'm also very interested on the fact that it only protects women. Like, for example, if I'm in the subway and I see a gang of individuals that are constantly looking towards me, I would feel unsafe. But for some reason, that doesn't seem to be placed under this legislation. A child, for example, if you're a kid walking home from school and you're seeing like an adult looking at you intently, that may also make the child feel uncomfortable. But for some reason, notice how these legislations aren't there to protect everybody. No, it's just like this special group interest for some reason. I can't figure out why, because again, like, it wouldn't hurt them to say, it's like, okay, well, if you're in the subway and someone looks at you, you should be able to call the cops if that's how you want to do it. You know, like, if you're saying that just looking at a person. And not to mention, like, the accusations of racismus are going to spawn from this. Like, if they actually start policing this, and it's very likely they're not going to police it properly, they're not going to apply the law equally, you're going to eventually get the situation where a woman calls the cops over a black person or a Muslim person saying that they were looking at her, and the woman is going to appear in the media saying that, oh my god, racismus, Islamofobismus. Because that's what you're going to get. I mean, I remember when the manspreading thing started happening. Do you guys remember that? It was in New York that 2 individuals got in trouble with the cops for manspreading. They were black. Right? So everyone, all of a sudden, it's like, oh my god, white woman calls cops on black people. You're just creating more of these opportunities to happen. But anyway, right, so apparently, this is amid unhealthy sexual behavior incidents. It's like, okay, well, if it's an unhealthy sexual behavior incident, like someone lifted up her skirt, someone touched her bottom, everyone agrees that, yeah, like, these are assaults, that they should not happen. But looking at a person, just looking at a person, even, I would even say, okay, taking a picture of someone, fine, even though you're in a public place. But let's say you manage to, like, use your smartphone and you take a picture under her skirt or something. Yeah, sure. However, like, how can you prove that the person was looking towards someone with sexual intent or not? We want to know about staring, because that is a behavior that suggests to me someone is thinking. Yeah, so you want to criminalize thinking. Like, that's the problem. You want to criminalize thinking. The detective warned that such crimes would be recorded. We have had successful prosecutions in that field. Can you imagine going to prison for this? And you're asking the guy next to you, like, why are you in for? Oh, I'm a pedophile. Oh, I am a wife beater. What did you do? I stared. You know, maybe this tactic can be applied in the war in Ukraine. Like, the Ukrainian soldiers can use it to intimidate the Russian soldiers and make them feel uncomfortable by staring. The top detective comments came in a response to a campaign that was launched last month to raise awareness in the land and transport. A part of the initiative posters installed on trains, inclusive staring of a sexual nature is sexual harassment that is not tolerated. Again, like, define staring of a sexual nature. I would want to see pictures. I probably do not recognize. Like, if a woman looks at me with a staring of sexual nature, I am a married man. I need to put my foot down. So I need to recognize it when I see it. Like, what if it happens and I'm unaware? Apparently, from 2020 to 21, 995 reports of sexual offenses. Like, first of all, reports and convictions are 2 different things, all right? Anyone can report anyone for anything. Like, I can report this journalist for being offensive. That doesn't mean that it actually is. But secondly, there is a difference between a sexual offense of lifting someone's skirt or grabbing someone's titty and looking at the person. Like, I'm sorry. And also what's interesting is that they consider when public exposure to be one of these incidents, right? So like a man showing his pee-pee in public. That is a mental illness. That person is in need of psychiatric help. You can educate him as much as you want. You can threaten him with the cops. He needs psychiatric help. He needs pills. I find it very interesting because the progressive ideology is all about representation and mental illness, right? Like Lego recently, they had toys with ADHD, anxiety. I kind of find that hilarious. Like the imagination that the company believes a person with anxiety has a shocked face 24/7. But right, like they want to represent various mental illnesses, right? Autism. What about indecent public exposure? That's a mental illness. Are they going to represent that? Why not? I find it interesting. And it is a problem, by the way. Anywho, let me know what you guys think. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section.